Hello guys. Once my model is ready, I'll be able to show you guys just where we start and how we figure out how to do it as quickly as possible, because as long as people come in, we need it to be in a timely fashion. So we finish our blow dries 45 minutes max, and that's usually somebody, and that includes the wash, and that's usually somebody with tons of hair that should take you that long. So here at Blow Me Away, and I really enjoy it. It's in Los Angeles. We have different types of clientele. We have a lot of high-end clientele and a lot of working moms, a lot of different. So I really enjoy that.
How much do they charge for the blow dry?
They charge $35. And no matter if you have short hair, long hair, too much hair, not enough hair, it's $35 all the time, every day. They also do haircuts. It's not necessarily something that we put out there, but of course the best blow dries come with the best haircuts. So we do haircuts, trims like that, and that's it. It's just an express, it's something where you go express. It's not necessarily a hair salon. A hair salon, they do everything, you can get everything done. A blow dry bar is somewhere you just go in and out. Someone has an event, in and out. Someone has a graduation, prom, whatever. So that's what they come to the blow dry bar for. There is Blow Dry Bar, Blow Me Away, Dry Angels, Blow in Tarzana. There's tons of different ones. So I just work at a little one, quiet, but it's really nice and I really like it.
Can you advise some brushes for blow dry? Which one I favor?
Okay, well the ones that they use at the salon, at the dry bar is Moroccan oil has their own actual, they have their own brushes, and I like using the smaller one to create the curls, but they have the bigger ones and all sizes like that. I like them because a lot of the hair doesn't get too stuck at the bottom. They also use the Boar brushes for people with really curly hair, and you have to kind of pull the curls out. I really like this one as well. So I would just use something to where if you're starting out early, the airflow that goes through here is really important. With the Boar brush, air that can't really get through here, so that's what you have to focus on. You have to focus on making sure the air hits every point of the hair so that the curl stays consistent. With these, it's kind of easy because the air can go straight through, it can hit both sides at the same time, and it's a lot quicker. So I learned with these. I learned with all of my brushes before I had made sure that they were, you know, airflow can get through them. So that was pretty important. And that was that. So, as far as the curls start, when someone does a blow dry, when they start out with the blow dry, my main thing before was I like to start at the back because I feel like by the time I get to the top, most of it will be kind of dry and I can just do it pretty quickly. But what they teach us at the dry bar is they make sure that we start in the front, because when people are sitting in front of the mirror, they don't want to see wet hair, they want to see what's going to come about, so they're not nervous, they're not freaking out or anything like that. My thing is I'm trying to get done, I'm talking, doing whatever, but all she can see is wet hair. So that's not too good or professional technically. So we all start off from the front because that's what they see and they want to know that it's going to look good. People like to play in their hair and look at it, make sure they're going to look fabulous for whatever they're going to. So that's what I realized, that's what they enjoy. When they do the front, then they can look at it, they can be at ease, they can realize, okay, she's good, she's going to handle everything. Or they can also know that, okay, well, I'm probably not going to like this, let me tell her what I need to do different. Oh, can you make this curl a little less? Can you put more curl in this? So far, so forth. Curls. Do you guys do pin curls at all? Yeah? Do you do pin curls with blow dries? Yeah? Some? Okay. So some people who have extremely straight hair, it's so hard to put curls in their hair, so what I do is I do a pin curl. The pin curl is probably the most important part once you heat it up, because think of it like jewelry. When you're making jewelry, they make it really, really hot, they form it to what it has to be, and then they cool it. And once they cool it, then it becomes a ring, it becomes a bracelet, it becomes whatever, but it forms into that shape. So once you finish blow drying into whatever shape you want, whether you want the curl big, you want the curl small, make sure you heat it up as much as you can. By the time you put the curl, it needs to still be hot when you're pin curling. By the time you set it, that's when it's the cooling process. You really don't have to go through and like cool it off with the blow dry when you're doing pin curls, because that's its setting point. So you let that ride. So just let that, keep that in mind. Because you're trying to work faster. You're trying to get people in and out. So that helps with me. Oh, before I even start, taking out most of the moisture in the hair is really important too. So before I even clip it up, I would take out about close to 60% of the moisture. Only because you don't need to be drying. Drying process is not what's important at this point. So if you take out most of the moisture, then all you're focused on is creating the style. So you're not so focused on making sure the hair is wet, making sure the curl is wet, making sure that needs to be not what you're concerned about. So you're taking out most of the moisture, so you don't have to worry about, oh shoot, I did the pin curl, it looks great, but now it's still wet and now it's nothing. So, and focus on the root as well. Because when the root is dry, that's what your base is. When you guys learn pin curls, that's the main important part. Setting the root is the most important. Because if the root isn't dry, if the root isn't how you need it to be, then your whole style is off. What we try to focus on, if you want lots of volume, you guys know this, set it super off. If you don't want too much, she doesn't look like she's from Texas and has like super high hair, then set it a little closer to you. You just want to make sure that it's laid down if that's how you want it. So figure out the style beforehand. That's another important part. I use a small brush because I feel like when I create my curl, it's going to be the size of this. If I want my curls to be bigger, I use a bigger brush. If I want it to be smaller, I use a smaller brush. I like this brush because I feel like it can create the most basic curls, the most basic curling iron. Think of it that way. If you want your curls to be a certain way, use a certain curling iron, make sure your brush matches the curling iron. That's what we're doing. So, the most important part, like I said, is making sure the root is dry first, before anything. If I'm creating lots of volume, I pull it forward. If I want her hair to kind of flow back into things like that, I pull everything forward. The only time where I'm pulling it backwards or anything like that is if I want it to lay flat. I want it to lay where it's going. So I pull it forward always if I'm creating volume. So if you make sure the airflow goes in the direction of which the hair is moving, then you won't burn the client. So if you keep it with the direction of the hair is going, then you won't burn the client. Because your main focus is to get the hair dry, not their brain. So I want the hair to go forward, I push the hair forward. I don't want to make it frizzy, so I push this hair backwards. Turn this off so you can hear me. So when creating the pin curl, the way I was taught is you create a cannoli. Anybody know what a cannoli is? Italians in here? Okay, cannoli. Anytime you create a pin curl and the hair is kind of twisted up, you're not going to create the curl that you want. You want the curl to be smooth. So even if you have to brush the hair through and then create the curl, it's fine. Make sure all the hair is tucked in. Make sure all the hair is going in one direction. Make sure the curl is still hot when you roll it up. If you spending so much time figuring it out and it's cold, it doesn't matter. Then it's just gonna be whatever. So I'm not gonna pin that back because we don't want you to look crazy. Make sure that your section can fit in your brush. I know that the ergo brushes are a lot longer, so you can pick up more hair. So if you can pick up more hair, you can pick it up, but make sure that your brush can control it. So what Betty would like me to do is pick up like the whole top section and kind of figure it out, but I would lose myself in it. So pick up what you know that you can do and then pick up more hair as time goes along. So again, starting from the root, that's the most important part. And if I'm going in the same direction as the hair, her scalp can never feel the heat. But I'm still heating up that part of her hair, which is the most important. So once you get into the curl, you're going to make sure your curl starts from the base. So I'm going to start the curl process from here. So I'm putting it from the bottom and I'm bringing it up. As long as the hair is moving, you won't burn the hair. If you keep the hair in one spot and the heat in one spot, you're going to burn the client and the hair, and that's going to be a problem. So you start the curl from the bottom and the top. And like I said before, the brush creates airflow, so you don't have to focus too much on switching sides or anything like that. Start from the base, so your curl will start from the base. another thing. Once you take the curl out, you have to know how to release it. Sometimes the hair gets stuck and then you're freaking out and figuring out how to do it. What I do is I go in the same direction as the curl. So I twist and it comes into a little, you know, curl. Also, when I'm letting the curls go, if I don't want to pin curl, if she doesn't want her curls too tight, I'll just pin it forward because she does want volume. So if I just pin it forward and make sure all her hair is going forward, finish the blow dry, by the time I take it down, it's still cooled off over directing. So by the time I pull it down, then she still has volume without having to do all those pin curls and all that time. So if you know that you can create curls without, you know, doing all the extra stuff, then do it. So let's see, I'll turn. What's it, too nice? Yeah? Okay. So again, going in the same direction as the hair. It keeps all the hair flowing in under. I'm not like blowing all the hair this way, even though I can, but I want to keep the hair going in all in one direction. So we're going to squeeze it. Because just like the pin curls, you want all the hair to be going in one direction, all the hair to be tucked in the right direction. And sometimes this will happen. Don't freak out. Make sure you pick up the same amount of hair. You can tell what's dried and what's not. And keep going. If they're looking at you, who cares? You know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, who cares? Act like you know what you're doing. Because there's nothing worse than having a hairstylist who's nervous. Because people can feel that. Now, let me just finish. Twist, a twist. It's slowly coming out of the brush. You can see it. So I'll just pin it forward so it can pull off that way. And also make sure that your arms and your wrists are angled. You don't want to hold the blow dryers that we work with are extremely heavy. You can't see them now, but I have some pretty big guns. Thanks to those blow dryers. So you have to make sure that your arms are comfortable. You don't want to be down here. You don't want to be way up here. Make sure your client isn't right in front of you. Don't work from the side, trying to work from the back. You stand in front of what you're doing. So that way you can move correctly. You can make sure you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, they're not comfortable, then the hair comes out bad, and it's just all bad. Anybody want to try it? No? All the hair goes smoothly and tucks under. See? And then you can over direct it, you can go on base, off base, all of that. But the hair is cooling how I want it to cool. That's the size curl I want it to be, that's the size curl it's going to be. If I want it to be tighter, I'll curl it tighter because the hair is still hot. So it'll form to whatever curl you need it to be. I can use this little brush and then do huge curls and pin them with huge pin curls. So it just depends on how you want it. So just make sure that I use a really small pin, but just make sure that it all goes in the same direction. All the hair isn't all funky in here and everything's kind of working together. And when you take it out, then they all just stack on top of each other. So everything looks neat by the time you're finished. Try to make a curl with the Boar brush. You kind of don't have any airflow. Well, you really don't have any airflow. So the trick is to figure out how to heat up all the hair wrapped around the brush without, one, burning the hair, two, getting the hair evenly distributed to all of the hair. Getting the air evenly distributed. So never create curls with these, but the same concept with every brush. You make sure the root is dry, and usually if I'm using this brush, I'm pulling out someone's curl. So tension is the most important part. So if somebody wants straight hair, I would push all the hair down straight. Using this brush to create a smooth palette for yourself. If they want a bump at the end, all the hair is still going straight, I'm just making it smooth. If they want flipped out, that's fine. I just have to make sure the air goes in all parts of the hair. Because my section is too big for the air to go all the way through. So that's what I have to create. So I push all the hair going downwards because that's what I want. If I want all my hair to go upwards and create volume, then I will push it all upwards. So if someone wants straight, smooth, silky, beautiful hair, I would use this bad boy. And it works out smooth. The only reason why I usually wouldn't use this brush on anybody with, let's say, her hair, because her hair is already smooth. I don't have to use too much tension. If I were to use this hair on, let's say, myself, then this brush on myself, then that would be what I would have to do. I would use tons of tension, not without pulling the hair out the client's scalp, of course, and just make sure that all the hair is going in the same direction. The second you start to see frizz, that's what it's going to look like. So you want to make sure all the frizz is completely gone before you even create any type of style. So that's why I say start at the base. If someone just wants straight with curl at the end, the same concept applies. You still have to make sure the roots are dry. You still have to make sure that everything's going one direction and wrist action to the bottom. And usually what I do if someone wants to keep the look of length with their hair and they still want to curl, you ever curled your hair and then all of a sudden you have a bob because your hair is so short. So what I'll do is at the bottom, I'll make sure the curls are only at the bottom. And as I move my way up, then I'll make sure the curls get tighter as they go up, so then you still have a little bit of length going on. Because some people enjoy curls, they just don't like the look of having short Shirley Temple hair. So you guys know how to like blow dry bangs, right? To make them kind of create that little thing? No? Yeah? Okay. Well, for a lot of times when people want like that whole like wispy to the side, is that what you want? I'm assuming that's what you want. Hair to the side? Okay, cool. I don't know. Okay. So a lot of times people like blow dry their hair forward, and then that's just that. It doesn't, if you blow dry the hair forward, it's going to go forward. If you blow dry it backwards, the way the hair grows forward, right? So if you blow dry it backwards and it wants to go forward, it'll kind of create this like little halo of beautiness, you know? So if you want the curls to go sideways, you want the curls to go this way, so I'm going to pull the hair this way. Over-directed. Over-directed. So it creates that little guy. You want it to go have volume, then we're going to pull backwards. And kind of give it that. Okay, so we're always kind of funky because I always do the mohawk. So sometimes the hair gets stuck like this. You can either do one of two things. What I do is I tell them to tilt their head back, and I kind of take the blow dryer and kind of heat up the roots a little bit so they all go in one direction. Or you can take your brush and kind of blow out the parts, which I feel like takes too long. So I make sure everything's dry, which it should be if you did all the steps correctly. And also, a lot of clients who have curly hair have little Boricua hairs, I like to call them, on the side. What I do is I go with the flat iron, and I'll ask them, is it okay if I use a flat iron around the edges of the hair? Yeah, of course. Or some people say, no, it's fine. For the most part, I like to do it because I feel like that cleans it up the most. Of course, hers are nice and smooth, so they're fine. So you let them see it, let them feel it, everything's cool. If it's too much curl, you blow it out, you make sure okay, I can take it out, don't worry. If it's not enough, then you go in with the curling iron and it's no problem. So that is what I do, and take a look, don't be freaked out. Good, any other questions? Nothing? Yeah? Yeah.
When you're releasing the curl, you use less tension, but you kind of go fast, right?
Yeah, especially if I'm doing pin curls, because I want the hair to still be hot when I make my pin curls. So if I'm letting go of the curl, I don't want to move too fast to where the hair gets confused. So I kind of just make sure, and you watch it, and you can kind of see the hair being released from it. And yeah, so your movement is the most important part. You want to just freak out and then the hair is all over the place. So I make sure I do it relatively fast because I want the hair to still be hot, especially if I'm doing a pin curl. If not, then yeah, you can pull it out. So I remember Kentrell, did he come here? Did you guys? I remember, well, I taught him how to blow dry if he ever asked. But I remember when he was first learning, he loved how perfect the curls would look when you would take it out. And so I'm like, Kentrell, you're taking like so long to take the curl. He's like, no, I want every curl to be perfect. And he would literally release the hair from every curl and leave it. And move to the next one. And I'm like, okay, it's beautiful, it's great. You're going too slow. So if moving the curl like this, your hair, if you can still see the curl is going to be there. Don't freak out. Of course, if you have a masterpiece in your own set and you just want it to be, you can do whatever you want. But I feel like if you want it to be in a timely manner, then make sure you're watching what you're doing, making sure the curl is still going in the direction you want it, and that's fine. Now I've done things where I want the curl to go outward and I pull it forward because I'm talking too much, and that's fine. You can just reheat it and do it again. You don't want to reheat too much because that's when breakage and all that starts to come out. If everyone has breakage, I'm just going to say whatever. Everyone has some type of ends, whatever. Your job is to make sure that everything stays smooth. If you heat it up too much, then the hair kind of starts blowing out and you'll see too much frizz, and it's just like, okay, that's not what I'm supposed to do. So what I would do is take the water, wet it back down. You don't even have to tell her what you're doing. Don't even worry about it. Everything's fine. You go to the other side, keep going, and by the time you get to the side, it's kind of dried a little bit, then do it again. Because if you heat it too much, then the curl kind of just gets freaked out and, whatever. I kind of look at hair as like it's a living thing. So does what I have to say. It'll do what I have to say if I do it the right way. So I want it to go a certain way, that's when I do off base, on base, everything like that. So talk to it, you know, let it be a friend. So my brushes, I really like the Moroccan oil, and I like the Boar. Yeah, whatever it's called. These are actually some pretty expensive brushes. I didn't know that. But if you can save up and put this a part of your, you know, dream kit, then I would, because there's always going to be that person who's like, oh, I want silky, like Beyonce hair, and they have like an afro. And you're just like, of course, no problem. And that's when you bring this guy out. And you're flattered. So, yeah, I enjoy these, but I would have never known about them if I didn't go there. So, I would say try out everything. Who cares you just got out of school? The worst question that I get is like, oh, how long have you been doing hair? Girl, forever. Okay? Forever. Oh, girl, I've been doing hair for so long. And I was like, oh, well, you know, when did you get your license? Oh, a long time ago, a little while ago. Girl, you do not, they don't need to know that. They need to know that you can style hair and that you're comfortable in doing hair, that they're going to look fabulous when you leave. And that's the only thing they need to focus on. And if you don't like talking about that subject, you switch subjects. So how is your husband? How is everything else? You have them talking. Because for me, my thing is that as soon as I got out, I wanted to be in a chair. I wanted to be doing people's hair. I was going to people's houses doing all this stuff. So we work 5-hour shifts. We can probably do, if we're working quick, 2 people in 1 hour. So about 10 people a day. They try to get us to do as much as possible. So if we're working a weekend or working a private event or something like that, easy, 10 a day. Or if they just want curls, you touch it up, but the main thing that you're thinking of is in and out. Making sure they love their hair. Being quick is great, but them loving their hair is even better. So the main thing that we have to focus on is making sure that we get them in and out and making sure that they are absolutely in love with their hair when they leave. So sometimes I go further than 5 hours because someone isn't there or something like that. So yeah, so you can go as far as you want. And we also do like at home, like you know, we go to your house, like blow dry, stuff like that, and the way that works is it's $70, and then we get $35, and then they get $35. And if it takes you 30 minutes to do it, you get $35. Well, I don't care. I get to go to some fancy schmancy house and, you know, blow dry someone's hair. So that's pretty cool. I like it. I think it's pretty good if you do something that you're comfortable in. Like if you want to go to Supercuts and you want to learn how to do it, that wasn't in my plan. But if that's what you want to do, you like doing haircuts, you want to learn how to do, then do it. Who cares? If you like doing blow dries and that's what you do, it's a great way to get a high-end clientele. It's a great way to be able to start off and not be freaked out about being in a salon. You know, it's a good transitional salon. So I have regulars who come in. I have people who come in and they have a regular and then they can't, and then I take them, or you know, something like that. So a lot of people can request. They can say, oh, who did my hair last time? I really liked her, and they can look it up that way. So yeah, I get a lot of requests actually, and I didn't even realize it until the other day. I was like, oh, they have requests. So yeah, it just depends on how you have to be personable too. I mean, a lot of times I have like stale face because I'm like so focused on like trying to be awesome, and I'm just like doing your hair. But even you kind of just have to let them, you know, a lot of times they just want to talk, so you just let them talk. And yeah, oh girl, I done been through that. Yeah, they just want to talk. So you focus on what you're doing, they'll focus on what they're talking about. Sometimes like I was sick, I completely lost my voice, like gone. So I was like, I'm sorry. And they're fine. And a little mimosa and a little magazine, and they're fine. So don't freak out as far as clients go. I wouldn't. So yeah.
Thank you, Kelly.
Oh, I have these. Okay, well, these are kind of cool brushes. I'm not a fan of them because they don't have good grip, but I usually can put like a rubber band on it and like, you know, work pretty well. If anybody wants, I have like a few, like 5 or something like that. Itch. Oh God.